We're still giving our preview and pregame analysis of all these playoff series, right? We covered part one. Make sure y'all go check that out again in our previous podcast. Today, we're going over majority of the Western teams in these Western games, which went underway yesterday. We saw a lot of these games yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad we didn't do our podcast because there are a lot of developments that happened in these games that took place in game one. So
for sure,
I'm glad we didn't. But let's go ahead and talk about some of these games and our predictions for the rest of the series. So one of the first games that happened yesterday was Lakers Grizzlies, right? Unfortunately, in this game, we saw Morant go down, which is very unfortunate. Remember, the Grizzlies are also without several key players, Steven Adams, for example, who I think would make a huge difference in this series. So, all right. So, concerning the Lakers did win game one and how good the Lakers look, particularly some of their role players like Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. So, Zay, what's your outlook on the series now, considering how game one played out?
Initially, I'm thinking even without Steven Adams being another big to be in the rotation, to have that size going down the depth chart, I had the Grizzlies pretty much handling the series. But with the potential loss of Joel Morant, I know he went out with a hand or wrist injury. Still, hoping that everything is well and we get an update on that. But looking at the Lakers, I'm pleasantly surprised by how well they played throughout the game, in particular down the stretch. Once they kind of gained that momentum, they didn't look back. And it wasn't like it was just everything feeding through LeBron. The good thing about this is that, for the Lakers at least, seeing that Austin Reeves, seeing Hachimura have his probably biggest game as a Laker come, and with such a crucial series, they are expected to be the underdog, of course, the 7th seed, playing second best team in the West. But it was really cool to see that Austin Reeves really came to his own, kind of just facilitating, making plays, making shots when they count. Hachimura stepping up in a big way. Anthony Davis also had an injury, but thankfully it wasn't anything that would cause him to be out. He was able to return in the same game. But it makes me think, man, if Ja isn't back, and if the rest of the Grizzlies squad with Jaren Jackson Jr. having a good game yesterday, if they can't rally together during this, they could be. I'm surprised I'm saying this. They could be bouncing the first round as the second seed, because the Lakers looked very composed yesterday, and I'm pretty surprised right now. So if Ja doesn't return, I think that they could make this a 6-7 game series, and maybe the Lakers, potentially win the series. If Ja returns, I think Memphis still has a shot if he's 80+% healthy, because to me they have to be better as a team outside of Ja's production. Like, Jaren Jackson Jr. had a monster game, and Desmond Bane was on. They just kind of collapsed in that later second half, because they were in it until the last few minutes. They just kind of lost steam. So if the Grizzlies can make that adjustment, they still can hold off. But if not, the Lakers may be able to take them in this first round for real.
Yeah. Part of it, can the Lakers supporting cast continue to do this, this type of play? Because as you know, like you mentioned, like you need help to win the championship. Jaren Jackson Jr. can't do it by himself. Same thing with the Lakers. Can Rui Hachimura give you any resemblance of this production again throughout the rest of the series? Can Austin Reeves be as effective as he has been in this series? That matters a lot. Supporting class and role players mean a lot in playoff series, and you see that with all these games that we've seen this past weekend. Honestly, it's been a constant theme. But focusing on this game, Wolves reported that it's significant doubt that Ja will play game 2. So he'll definitely be out for game 2. Maybe he'll return for the road trip when they go to LA. A lot of it does depend on the health of Ja.
Yeah.
Before Ja's injury, though, I think I was leaning towards I was looking at this to be maybe a 7-game series between the Grizzlies and Lakers before, and I was gonna give the advantage to Memphis just because of the home court advantage. That was my thoughts on the series, and looking at just how the Grizzlies have played in the past. Even without like some of the key players, they just win all the time. They know how to win, so I was just going to rely on that for the most part. But if Ja's health is in the air, I'm right there with you. Like, Lakers should win this series. And it could go fairly quickly, depending on how things turn out. But the Grizzlies still do have good, talented players on this team, though. I feel like they can at least get a game or two without Ja Morant. So it should be at least a 6-game series, I think. Because if Jaren Jackson Jr. can have good games and someone else to help him, they'll be right there.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to win the whole series against LeBron James-led team and Anthony Davis. So that's where I'm at. So right now, I would say Lakers in like potentially 6 or 7, depending on how Grizzlies play. So like, I say Lakers in 6. But if Ja comes back healthy, he's like at least 80%. And I give the Grizzlies a good chance to win the series. Like, Grizzlies in 7. Because they lost home court advantage now. So
yeah,
they'll have to try to regain it and get it to a game 7 probably.
For sure. I think we're on the same page. I think for me personally, I like I said, my initial pick was Grizzlies before seeing the injury and how the rest of the players reacted.
Yep.
But I think if the Grizzlies can take a book out of the Lakers, out of honestly Hachimura and Reeves in particular, take a page out of their book and have, obviously Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to get his numbers and he's going to make his impact. Desmond Bane, we saw flashes of that, but who can be that next guy after that? After those guys, basically, who's going to be the person to fill that void to kind of help? Is it going to be Tyus Jones? Is he going to have a significant role as a starting point guard? Who's going to be that other option to go to produce something? Not even like scoring points, but just making plays. Who's that going to be for them? So hopefully they will find out, but I'm rooting for them. But right now it's like, that puts the Lakers in favor for sure.
Yeah. I guess at this point we also have to challenge like Dylan Brooks.
Yep.
He kind of has to step up even more so now, especially out there. It wasn't really billboard material or headline material when he like talked about he would like to play the Lakers and he would like to knock out LeBron in the first round.
Right.
If that's stepping for Char now without Ja Morant, so he really needs to step up at least. If he gives you anything on offense, that'd be great. But I'm talking about defensively for the most part. You make those like game-winning plays on defense, like that'll help this team out a lot. And as far as scoring, I'm looking at like you said, Jones, and I'm looking at Luke Kennard. Like, they can provide scoring options. So looking at those players for sure. Yeah, somebody has to step up.
Absolutely.
I think they can do it. I think these players can do it. But we'll just have to see. All depends on the health of John Morant about this series. So, yeah, that's where we're at.